move towards something, you can stay still, or you can move backward.
Right.
Dopamine is involved in motivation, not reward. So when you, like, what's something that you really enjoy doing?
Making quesadillas.
Making quesadillas. When you get the ingredients and you put them out, your dopamine is starting to rise.
Yeah, I'm feeling
it. If you're somebody who likes gambling, it's on the way to Vegas. You're walking in, you're getting your chips. It's the feel of the chips. The dopamine's going up. Okay, this is a hardwired set of circuits that were designed to have us do things that were adaptive. So dopamine starts to rise in anticipation of food when we're hungry, cold when we're hot, heat when we're cold, sex when we're horny.
Right.
And it's going to be involved in anything that we think is going to bring a feeling or a resource.
So a lot of dopamine is based on perception?
Absolutely. You nailed it.
Wow.
In fact, whether or not we're talking about Bitcoin, US dollars, likes on Instagram or X, followers, views, or any of that, the currency is dopamine.
Got it.
There's one currency of motivation. So dopamine is about wanting and craving, not about having. Then something happens. You make the quesadilla.
Okay, hold on. Let me slow it down just real quick, Andrew, so that, because sometimes it's hard for me, so I know it might be hard for some of our listeners. But so the dopamine is based on the motivation. So it's not about like the fact that when I'm sitting there and I'm making my quesadilla, like that's the dopamine is like knowing that I'm gonna get the quesadilla soon. That's dopamine. But then when I actually get the quesadilla, what?
Okay, so it depends on the quesadilla. Let's go with 3 different scenarios.
Okay.
And we could change out quesadilla here for jackpot at the
casino
table,
sex,
winning a UFC fight, or winning the bet on the UFC fight.
Being nervous about asking a girl out and then actually doing it.
Comedy when you move to crowd work and you're like, this feels like I'm out on a tightrope.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So any of those things, anything where there's a potential payoff, then something happens. Let's use the quesadilla example because it's straightforward. You have the quesadilla and it's pretty good. Tastes like the quesadilla you usually make. Okay, what happens? Your dopamine starts dropping a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but you're okay. Yeah, it starts dropping. Let's say, just by way of example, you eat 4 quesadillas. Each time, it's going to be a little bit less dopamine from the actual eating of the quesadilla.
Yeah, the second quesadilla, you can barely even taste it sometimes.
Let's say you bite into the quesadilla and it's like, this tastes weird. Like there's something off here. Dopamine plummets. So how much dopamine you get depends on the anticipation minus what you actually get, something called reward prediction error. But the language doesn't really matter. That's a bunch of nerd speak for when an experience is worse than you expected, your dopamine drops below where it started.
Wow.
When an experience is better than you expected, surprise, it's way above where you started. And it stays up there for a while. So the dopamine system loves surprise. Now, all of this is related to learning. This is an ancient system designed for you to learn where are the payoffs? Where's the water? Where's the food? Where are the mates? Where's the money? Where's the resources? These are ancient circuits that we are doing non-ancient things with. And so, for instance, if you do comedy tours, right? When you do your comedy tours and like you really nail it one night, like really nail it. It does 2 things. It raises your baseline level of dopamine. So the next time you go out, you have confidence, right? You're still feeling that. But it also raises the threshold for dopamine, right? Now it's harder to get dopamine. You can't have the same experiences that you had prior to that really killer night and get the same amount of dopamine that you used to.
It's officially the best time of the year for hoops fans. Playoff drama, buzzer beaters, and the chaos we live for. And if you're done just watching and ready to actually win some cash, you got to check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competition, you could be looking at a 500x bag in your pocket. It's super simple. Select your picks, track your score, and go for those big time prizes. No gimmicks, just straight up fun. Pick 6 is live in most states like Missouri, Cali, Texas, Georgia, and plenty more. For a couple of my picks, I'm rocking with that SGA and more than 30.5 points. I'm also going to roll with Nas Reed, that LSU dog, and less than 6 rebounds. So yeah, don't settle for weak payouts. Make your picks with Pick 6 from DraftKings and let your basketball brain pay off. New to DraftKings Pick 6, new customers toss in just $5 on your first entry, and you'll get a $50 in bonus picks instantly. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code Theo. That's code Theo to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. What happens when your health becomes the punchline? It's a good question. With the revelations of seed oils and brain fog and toxins, pollutants, the things that we're ingesting that we didn't even know. The modern world is screwing with our health at the cellular level, leading to digestive issues, and more stress, everything. But here's the thing. You don't have to settle for feeling like garbage 24/7. Armra Colostrum is nature's original health hack, packed with over 400 bioactive nutrients that fortify gut integrity, strengthen immunity, revitalize hair growth, fuel stamina, elevate focus, and help you function like a human again. Armra Colostrum. I take it, I put it into my smoothie. I like to make a nice smoothie. We've worked out a special offer for our audience. Receive 15% off your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/Theo. That's TRYARMRA.com/THEO. Or enter Theo to get 15% off your first order. That's TRYARMRA.com/THEO. Armra Colostrum. Nothing has ever made me feel more American than rolling on over to Sonic. And now Sonic is taking a stand against mediocre cheeseburgers by proclaiming the Sonic Smasher, the new Smashinal cheeseburger of America. And they want people across the country to experience a better burger, hand smashed and made to order. The Sonic Smasher features Angus beef patties, seasoned and seared to perfection with crispy edges and a juicy center, layered with melty American cheese, a creamy, tangy signature smasher sauce, crinkle-cut pickles, and diced onions, all served on a soft potato bun. Head to Sonic to try the Sonic Smasher. Live free, eat Sonic.
And when you think about dopamine, the most important thing to think about is how quickly does it go up, how quickly and how far does it go down? Because every time it goes up, it goes down. Why? Because remember earlier we were saying everything is like a seesaw. If you feel motivated, there is, and this is so important for people to understand, especially people with compulsions, addictions, and this kind of thing, the better it feels, the lower you're going to feel afterwards, and the longer it will take you to get back to baseline. So the drug of all drugs for this, to really nail home dopamine as a concept.
Sex. Or what? Food.
Well, behaviorally, sex. You're right. Okay. So, and people have behavior addictions, process addictions. Methamphetamine. Yeah. If you were going to look at what creates the biggest rise in dopamine the fastest, so it's dopamine over time, okay? Because listen, when you write jokes, or, when I'm, reading papers, I love reading science papers. I'm like mining for papers. Every once in a while I'll take a little break, and I'm super into cephalopods, octopuses. I'm building an octopus tank at home right now. Ooh. So that's kind of my indulgence is octopus. It's a little bit of dopamine. Right. Methamphetamine is a huge rapid increase in dopamine. Then what happens?
How much do we get off that? Bring it up real quick. I just want to see what is
it's how fast it occurs. It occurs within minutes. This is why crack cocaine was so much more addictive than snorted cocaine, right? It was the speed at with which it hits the system.
How much dopamine does an activity release?
Yep.
Baseline is 100%. Food is 150%. So an 50% increase. Video games, 175%. Sex, 200.
I disagree with sex, by the way. I think it depends on, if you're, and people should know this, if you live with somebody and you guys are having sex a lot and you've known each other a long time, there's a lot of the reason why people are like looking for novelty in their relationship, et cetera. I'm not trying to be salacious here, but new sexual partner is probably about 400, 500%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think most people would not dispute that.
Cocaine goes to 450%. Amphetamine, 1,000%. Methamphetamine, 1,300%.
That methyl group increases the speed. That speed increases dopamine.
So it's almost this. It could potentially almost be kind of the same, but the speed at which it happens is so much greater that it intensifies it so much.
That's right. And remember, the brain is thinking in terms of approach, pause, or retract. So when there's a ton of dopamine, listen, anyone on cocaine or methamphetamine, everything's a good idea to them.
Oh, yeah, anything.
Right.
Oh,
and then you think about cannabis. Cannabis has its own discussion, its own effects, but very different system and tends to make people pretty happy with right where they are. The opioids tends to make people overly happy with right where they are. They tend to be amotivated, not motivated. So dopamine, in this context, what happens is then dopamine drops below baseline.